Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat?
Game week, man. We're excited. Got the Falcons this week at their place, so it'll be a tough challenge. You know, the obvious thing is there's a few new pieces to the puzzle here, and so we'll have to figure some things out as the week goes along. But you know, we're excited about getting going and getting the season started.
It was Dennis Allen on Monday meeting with the media. The Saints do have the day off today. Tuesday is the traditional day off. They'll go through regular game week. They'll travel and play the Falcons in Atlanta on Sunday. Of course, it's Falcons week. It's always a big deal when the Saints play the Falcons, and it's a great opportunity for the Saints to get the season started on a good note. The Saints are a 5.5-point road favorite. That should put into perspective. How bad Atlanta is expected to be. It is rare that you see spreads approaching 6 points in the NFL to begin with, and when it's a road team favored by 5.5, that's as much of an indictment on Atlanta as it is a compliment to the New Orleans Saints. We all anticipate the Saints defense is going to be the cornerstone, while the offense has a lot of really good weapons. How quickly they can sort of gel Jameis, timing with the receivers, we all understand that at this point. But the other side of it is what Atlanta is going to do at quarterback. Of course, Marcus Mariota is the quarterback there, the former number 2 overall pick, behind Jameis Winston. Incidentally, they'll face off against each other on Sunday in Atlanta. But behind that is Desmond Ridder, and just a real dearth of options outside of Kyle Pitts offensively. Dennis Allen was asked about the challenge of scouting Marcus Mariota, who's going to be starting for the first time for the Atlanta Falcons.
Look, we've looked at a little bit of what they did with him in Oakland or Vegas. We obviously studied what they were doing with him back in 2019. I think he started the first 6 games for Tennessee back then. So we're going to uncover every stone that we can to try to figure out the things that they may do. And there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to have to adjust to throughout the course of the game. That's just the nature of, the season opener where there's a lot of uncertainty as to exactly what they're going to do or how they're going to try to attack you. And so we'll have to be ready to adjust.
It's not only the nature of the season opener, it's the nature of the NFL, where there is just elite level and deep level scouting to where you have to make adjustments throughout the course of a ball game. It's why these coaches and players are the best in the world at what they do. But Marcus Mariota hasn't started a game since 2019. And, that's the... Yes, you can look at Jameis and say, well, he didn't start in 2020 when he was sitting behind Drew Brees and started 7 games last year, then missed the remainder of the season with the torn ACL. So he's only played in 7 games the last 2 years, and that's fair. But I think we can objectively agree there's a difference between sitting due to performance and sitting due to injury. Jameis could have gone somewhere and started in 2020. There were reports that Pittsburgh wanted to pay Jameis back in 2020. And then a year ago, of course, he became the starting quarterback for New Orleans and then was injured. We all know the story. But Mariota hasn't been a full-time starter since 2018. 2018, he started 13 games in Tennessee. That was his last season when he was the full-time starter. In 2019, he started 6 times. And then each of the last 2 seasons with the Raiders, he was backing up Carr. So in a similar sense, he had the run with the team that drafted him, like Jameis, although Jameis certainly had more success throwing the football as a starter in Tampa than Mariota did in Tennessee. The last 2 years, Jameis has been in New Orleans. Mariota has been in Vegas. Jameis is now getting his opportunity to be the guy in New Orleans back from injury. And Mariota is starting almost by default because Atlanta shipped Matt Ryan out of town, and they are very likely playing for a draft to get their quarterback of the future. Maybe they believe that's Desmond Ridder. I'm not sure that I necessarily do, but that's not on me to prove. That's on him to prove at some point throughout his career. But it is so hard for me to imagine, and I understand that this is the NFL and there is the any given Sunday adage, but the Saints are a 5.5-point road favorite. Marcus Mariota is not a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL, and he has a void of options. I know Drake London is, they drafted out of USC, who was injured in camp. Kyle Pitts is sensational, but when you look around at Calvin Ridley being suspended for the entire season, They shipped out Julio Jones last year. That's just not an offense that you should be worried about. It's a game where the Saints objectively should go on the road and handle this game with relative ease. It's the kind of game where if you can't win this, you wonder about the legitimacy of the bold predictions. Like Peter King just picked the Saints to win the NFC. We've seen some of that. You know, folks predicting the Saints to be the NFC South champion and going to the Super Bowl. If you can't beat Atlanta on the road week 1, it feels like all of those projections are void. And the people who have legit questions about Jameis Winston or Dennis Allen as a former failed head coach, those become validated if you can't go on the road and beat Atlanta week 1 with Marcus Mariota starting as the starting quarterback. So we'll get those answers soon enough. But the Saints, heavy favorite here in week 1 in the debut of Dennis Allen. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.